Welcome to Astro-Weatherman. Hello, Weather Watchers, and welcome to another episode of Astro-Weatherman, where we study how the planets in our solar system affect weather patterns here on the Earth, an ancient science known as astrometeorology, the astrology of weather. Today's video is brought to you by the moon, specifically the lunar phases. This is our first video in a series of videos that are going to give you weekly weather forecast based on the changing phases of the moon. Now, with each changing phase of the moon, there is a shift in global weather cycles and global weather patterns. All right. So today is Friday, December the 16th, and we've entered into the last quarter moon phase for December of 2022. This phase will last from December the 16th to December the 22nd of 2022. And so we're going to be looking at what are the weather trends? What kind of weather trends are the planets bringing to North America, specifically Canada, the United States, and Mexico? If you want to look at your specific regions without having to look at the entire video, go to the description below and click on the time frame for your specific country, and it'll take you right to that portion of the video. All right, without further ado, let's see what the planets are going to be bringing to you in your respective regions for weather this upcoming lunar week, the last quarter moon phase. Okay, let's start with Western Canada. And we're going to start on the West Coast on BC. And the first thing that we're going to see here, there are two planets affecting you. Although, well, one is going to actually be stronger for your region. And unfortunately, it's not the greatest one. So the first one we're going to look at here is right down here, and that's Venus. Now, Venus is, we're going to give it one positive green circle because it does bring warmer temperatures. Well, I should say seasonable temperatures. The problem is, and we'll talk about the problem in a minute, Venus does give a lot of moisture, so it can bring a lot of snow or rain. And well, let's see which one is it going to bring. The other planet that's affecting you guys is off the coast, and that's Jupiter over here. Now, that's a positive weather planet. Problem is, it's way more towards the ocean. It's not going to affect you guys as much. So Venus, compared to Jupiter, is a lot colder. It's a lot, and it brings a heavy moisture. So I think temperatures are going to be far lower than normal for BC for this time of year. And you guys are going to get a lot of, and I think, snow because of the lower temperatures. So we're going to red zone your regions. Now we're going to give you a minor green because you might see some relief in temperatures and weather towards the end of the lunar week. So maybe by Wednesday, Thursday, it might get warmer and might get a little bit more, you'll see some more sunny breaks. Even though I think overall, you guys are going to see more in terms of the way of flurries or snow. Maybe rain towards the end of the week. We'll see about that. But at the end of the day, so we got one positive maybe towards the end of the week. But I think the majority, you're going to have a much bigger red circle. So I think the week is going to be colder, snowier, maybe even heavy at times. So it's going to be a bit of a rough week of weather, BC. Okay, let's move on to Alberta. And Alberta, right off the bat, we see you're affected by two planets in particular. One is Mercury, which we give normally a green circle because it tends to be a normally positive weather planet. Problem is in the winter time, it can bring nice sunny days, but bitterly cold temperatures. So that's why we're going to have to kind of give it a big old red circle around it as well, because, well, I can bring nice sunny days. Yay, wonderful, but very bitterly cold temperatures and stiff winds, or can bring the wind chill down significantly. So that's the only problem here with Mercury. And it is going to be the dominant planet. Now, even though Venus can bring some warmer seasonable temperatures, it's too far away from Alberta. It's Mercury is sitting right over top. So I don't think Venus is going to help warm anything up, even though, like I said, Venus can bring some more seasonable temperatures. But in this scenario, I do not think so. And Venus always brings heavier moisture, but because it's further away, I don't think it's going to bring as heavy moisture. So I think Alberta's going to get some snow. They're going to get flurries, but it's not going to be intense. It's not going to be too bad. More concerning for Alberta is the cold. All right. So I think overall, even though you're going to get some sunny breaks and it's going to be, generally, you know, not as snowy or not as many flurries. Uh, I should say not as heavy an accumulation. It's still going to be bitterly cold. So I think in one sense, you guys are going to, okay, let's mark this down just to kind of give you an idea of how it's going to be. So I think overall the weather is going to be stronger with negative weather because of the bitter cold. But, with that little bit of sunshine, a little bit more sunshine, a little less snow, it's not as bad. So kind of a mixed bag in that respect. All right. Um, but overall, I think it's going to be a very wintry week. Next, Saskatchewan. All right. Now, Saskatchewan, the closest planet and the strongest planet to you guys is actually this guy right down here, and that's Pluto, a negative weather planet. Um, so right off the bat, I don't think Mercury is going to help you too much with sunshine. He might. So we're going to give Mercury here a little bit of the positive weather with some sunshine. Problem is with Mercury, oops, with Mercury, the bitter cold and some stiff winds. So I think it's just if we're gonna look at Saskatchewan, you guys, unfortunately, I think I'm just gonna give you just a negative weather zone because it's just gonna be overall very wintry. We've got negative Pluto, we've got one negative aspect to Mercury with a cold, and then you've got just the one positive from Mercury with giving you some sunshine. So overall, I think you've got oops, sorry, did that wrong. You've got the negative Pluto, you've got the negative cold from Mercury, and you just got one of the positive aspects of Mercury, which is some of the sunshine. But overall, I think you guys are actually going to get you know, good amount of snow or flurries, cold, and with some sunny breaks. And that's going to be most of the week, unfortunately. You actually guys might get more snow towards the end of this lunar week, so just be aware of that. But temperatures are not going to change. They're all going to be cold throughout the week. All right. Next, Manitoba. Well, unfortunately, your forecast is easy because it's not going to be great. Um, what we see here is one big old negative weather planet, and that is Pluto. Cold, snowy. There I go again. I'm just learning how to work the controls, my second video, so please be patient with me. Um, overall, you guys are just gonna be under a very wintry weather pattern. Snow, cold, and even kind of stormy. So watch for that. Hunker, um, hunker down and batten down the hatches. Just uh, a very wintry week. All right, Ontario. So Ontario, the closest and strongest planet to you guys is a negative weather planet, and that's this guy right here, and that's Saturn. Not great. Saturn loves to bring cold, stormy weather with a good deal of moisture. So unfortunately, you guys are under one big old red zone. And the weather is going to be much colder than normal with maybe quite a bit of storm systems and snow. So winter has really come to Ontario this week. In fact, most of Canada. So not great. Okay. Quebec, same thing. I mean, we're going to sound like a broken record here, but the closest planet to you guys is going to be the strongest planet. It's going to be Saturn, big old negative planet with weather. So we're going to have to just red zone all of you guys, Quebec. Unfortunately, cold, snow, and Saturn likes to bring low pressure storm systems. So it's going to be a challenging week, unfortunately, Quebec. So watch and prepare for winter. All right. And that's going to last basically most of the week. Unfortunately, I just don't see maybe a few sunnier breaks towards the end of the week, but it's actually going to get maybe even colder towards the end of the week. I don't know. We'll see how that pans out, but not great. Maritimes, not good either. Man, all of Canada is under a really bad, bad weather pattern. We've got, well, let me actually first, Uranus is this weird planet. It's a mixed bag kind of a planet. It brings, it's kind of like Mercury in a sense, can bring nice, clear, sunny days. Um, but then all of a sudden, um, brings a massive storm system in or lowers the temperatures big time. So Uranus, sorry, is a very mixed weather planet, bringing a roller coaster of weather. But overall, Uranus is colder and stormy. We have another bad weather planet here, just off the, into the ocean. That's Neptune. That brings a lot of moisture and snow at this time of year. So, not looking good, Maritimes, for you guys as well. You're under sort of a big old red zone of weather, which here at Astro-Weather, man, we give a big old X. So harder weather. I think you're gonna have some sunny breaks. I think you're gonna have a lot more snow in the beginning of the week. Heavier moisture towards the end of the week. It'll be more choppy. You're still gonna get flurries. You're still gonna get snow, but maybe even towards the end of the week, Uranus could bring a blizzard. It could bring, it'll go from a nice, you'll get some nice sunny breaks and think, oh, everything is great. Everything is, clearing up. And then boom, get hit with something. And it could, with Uranus, you'll have some nice sunny breaks, but severe cold. Still going to be cold no matter what, even though you'll get some sunny breaks. But don't be tricked by that because Uranus can be tricky that way and then bring you a sudden squall or blizzard or something like that. So just be on guard. All right, there you go. That's Canada. All of Canada not looking great this week, this lunar week. Okay, let's see what the United States is doing for the weather and what the planets are bringing for them. Okay, USA, let's start off with the West Coast and Western regions of your country. All right, so first of all, let's highlight what's good and what's bad and what is up with the planets and what they're doing and how they're affecting you. Okay, we're going to start with Mercury down here, generally positive, but that's going to change depending on the on how far north you go versus how far south you go. Mercury's influence can definitely I should say the further north you go, definitely can change its positive negative rating, and we'll talk about that in just a second here. Venus again is sort of a mixed bag. It's got positive with in terms of seasonable temperatures, nice and warm. We've got Jupiter way out here towards the Pacific Ocean, way on the west. So it's not going to be a major player in this time, in this sense, because it's pretty far away, but it is going to maybe have an influence towards the end of the week. We shall see in just a moment. And big negative weather planet Pluto down here. All right. So how are we going to draw this map? Well, let's start, shall we? First I should actually do put one more little red circle around Miss Venus here because while she brings seasonable temperatures, she also brings quite a lot of moisture sometimes. So and we'll see where and how she is going to be functioning in those regions. So let's start with southwestern US. And I think what's going to happen here is we're going to have a fairly positive week of weather overall. Um, when we look at Mercury, which is a positive weather planet, overall down, especially further in these latitudes. We've got one positive for Venus, and we have one negative for Venus when it comes to its moisture. So when we, do the overall head count here, we've got two positives for southwestern US and one negative influence. So overall, I think southwestern US, you're going to have very seasonable temperatures, not too hot, not too cold. I think you guys are going to get um, not much in the way of moisture. If you do, it would be very scattered. So I think overall it'll be drier, seasonable, and just very pleasant overall for most of the week, actually. Especially, towards the beginning portion of the week. The end of the week, maybe th Wednesday, Thursday, maybe there could be, that's when the scattered, maybe it could get cloudier, maybe some scattered showers could happen. All right. Now, when you go further north, this is where the energy definitely shifts in terms of Venus and Mercury. So I think what's going to happen here, and this energy is actually going to extend further east past Pluto, and we'll talk about that in a minute once we get to Pluto. But why is it, why are we giving it more of a red zone? Um, because ultimately, one second while I do this, there we go. What happens here is Venus, because it definitely brings moisture, even the more seasonable temperatures. Mercury, once it gets up north, further north, especially during the winter season, seasonality is very important with planetary astrology and astrometeorology. Mercury, while bringing nice sunshine and clear days, gets cold. It gets a lot colder. So when I mix, here we have the or the negative weather pattern, Venus bringing moisture, Mercury bringing cold, but at the same time, Venus kind of balancing things out with temperature, but Mercury dipping it even colder, Venus bringing more moisture, but Mercury drying itself out. We're going to say it's going to be a mixed bag up here in the north. We're going to have periods where it's going to be we're going to have some nice sunny breaks, Um, but there is going to be snow, I think. Maybe rain on the west coast, but there's going to be plenty of moisture that's going to be coming down. Problem is, this region is also connecting with Pluto, another negative weather planet. So this is where we could see the negative weather dominate more towards the north. So we got a one positive element, two negative elements. So I think you guys are just going to be colder than normal, with a lot more moisture. And I think the coldest temperatures, well, I think it's going to be most of the week for you guys up north. It's just going to be downright cold. And maybe the heavier snowfall might come. Um, I think maybe towards maybe Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. Watch for those days for heavier moisture to fall. Um, yeah. Now, this section down here, this entire section, we've got a mixed bag of weather. Because the further south we go, the red uh circle of Mercury no longer applies. Okay. So I think what we're going to be seeing here in the south, some more southern regions, like around there, um, we're going to start to see a mixed bag of weather. And let me just redo that actually. The mixed bag being, we'll put the red one first actually, because Pluto is going to be um, a major player here. And we're going to give you guys a little green line here as well. So this is what your guys' weather is going to be like. You're going to have some good weather um, with Mercury, and I think that's going to be coming towards the beginning of the week, where you're going to have a lot of sunshine, a lot more you know, seasonable temperatures. But then things turn south the further out we go into the week, and things get a lot more unstable. So I think what's going to happen here is a mixed bag week starts off nice, seasonable, dry, lots of sunshine, and then it's going to turn into maybe cloudier, cooler, or colder weather with scattered rain or snow in higher elevations. The cold can start to dip down and bring more challenging weather periods. And that could happen towards around, it could be as early as Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, Thursday of next week. Okay, so just prep for that. All right, let's go to further east. All right. And you guys, while easier to forecast, it's not a great forecast. We've got a big negative weather planet here. We have a little bit of a positive with Uranus, but it also is the roller coaster planet that can bring um, periods of challenging weather as well. So it's a mixed bag. And then, of course, we just got plain old negative planet Saturn. So I think what's at the end of the day, the red is going to dominate the more negative weather patterns are going to dominate this pretty much this entire region, even up into the upper northeast quadrants. Sorry. And you know what? Let me move the map even further, because it's really this negative weather pattern is going to extend pretty much all the way. Oh boy, so it's going to be a bit of a rough week of weather. Winter is really coming in hard. All right. So, um, sorry about this, guys. It's just second second video, just still getting used to the controls a little bit. But all in all, um, pretty much the entire eastern section of the United States, from north to south, is looking harsh. I think temperatures are overall going to be cold, going to be colder than normal. Um, we have a little bit of positive weather that can come in from Uranus, but again, it's spotty at best. Um, so if we're going to do the math, what do we have of, in terms of region? We've got negative weather, Pluto. Oh, that's not negative, that's positive. Where are you? Negative. There we go. X. We've got negative weather, Pluto. We've got negative weather, Saturn. And we have sort of a negative weather pattern from Uranus, but also gives us a little bit of, not another X. We get a little bit of positive. So when we add it all up, what's it looking? We got one little positive weather pattern from Uranus. We've got one, two, three. We've got three negative weather patterns in effect for the majority of the country, from the Midwest all the way to the east, all the with the far northeast. So I think you guys are gonna expect to have, especially in the beginning of the week, heavy snow in the north, maybe rain or heavier rain in the south. I think you guys are gonna have um, lots of storm systems coming through. And what concerns me especially is this portion right here. And I'm going to highlight this sort of, well, in black. And it could be affecting, this region down here. So maybe as far as this, but this area, and that could happen, especially, I think, towards the end of the week. So maybe towards Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there could be some sort of severe storm system that could affect the eastern seaboard. So we're going to have to pay close attention to that and see if that happens. All right. So be on alert and be on guard for that. Um, and I think the majority of the rest of that portion of the country is going to have a roller coaster of weather, but overall colder temperatures, a lot more moisture. You might have some pockets of nice sunny weather, but it's still all going to be cooler than average, generally speaking. Maybe towards the southern regions, maybe especially towards the beginning of the week, especially down in Florida, southern Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. Those areas could be warmer than normal, and so they could have nice warm temperatures. But then I think the cool down will begin, especially towards Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll watch for that. All right, that's US. So, very interesting weather patterns are forming. All right, so let's see what Mexico has in store, and what the planets are going to bring them. Okay, Mexico, let's see what the planets have in store for your weather this upcoming last quarter moon lunar week. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all is we're going to highlight all the planets that are going to be affecting Mexico, all the positives and negatives and all of that. Okay, so Mercury is down here. We're going to give it a positive rating. Now, Pluto, the further south you go into the equator, the more positive rating it gets because of the sign that it's currently in. In Capricorn, Capricorn loves to be a lot hotter, drier, and bring a lot more um, positive weather um, in tropical areas, especially in the winter. So Pluto, the further south you go, and because Mexico is getting closer to the equator, Pluto is going to actually have a different effect. It's going to be a lot nicer. So he's going to be a positive planet. Uranus is going to have a little bit of positive energy to it, bringing some nice weather, sunny days. And Venus over here in the west is also going to have seasonable weather. So we all have some greens going on here. Now, What are the reds, the more challenging planets? Well, Venus definitely brings a lot more moisture in this circumstance, and Uranus brings roller coaster of weather, unpredictability, instability into the atmosphere. So it is a more challenging planet. Okay, so those are our planets. Now, how are we going to draw this? Well, let's start with Western Mexico. And in fact, for the majority of Western Mexico, basically stretching all the way this way, like right there, it's going to be in a very positive influence through both Mercury and Pluto. So Mexico, you're going to see two very positive weather planetary influences, bringing you a lot of dry weather. So I don't think there's going to be much or any in the way of rain for your area or for your regions. And I think it's going to be warm, hot temperatures. Now, you guys are going to have maybe more wind, a lot more wind, and during the first part of the week, but that's about it. I think it's going to get very hot towards Monday, Tuesday, could be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The temperatures are going to get extremely hot. So just be aware of that. So otherwise, beautiful weather. Next, we're going to look at the eastern portion of the country. And what do we see here? Now we see one positive influence from Pluto. We see one positive influence from Uranus. Let me just move that a little bit further there, Uranus, and negative influence from Uranus. That's not negative now, is it? Um, Second video, guys. Second video. I'm getting the hang of things. All right. So, um, patience is appreciated. Thank you. All right. No, see, second video. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'll get smoother as we go along. Okay. Um, Here we go. One positive, two positives, and one negative from Uranus. All right. So how are we going to color this? Well, Um, this region is going to be overall, it's going to be in the green. So overall, I think it's going to be very positive weather. Um, what we're going to see here is sort of a minor a negative weather influence from Uranus. So I think there's going to be some scattered thunder showers, but overall hot. I think overall dry. I think the majority of the inclement weather, I think some of the worse weather that could come, would be towards the end of the week, where you're going to have a lot more thunderstorms or thunder showers, maybe towards Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But otherwise, a very hot week, especially in the beginning. And yeah, so overall, not too bad. So in that section of Mexico, anyways, Yucatan Peninsula, expect more of the, um, I guess you could say, unstable weather, bringing scattered showers or showers or even thunderstorms towards Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Otherwise, very hot and pleasant weather, especially in the beginning towards midweek. All right, and that's Mexico. Okay, there you go. There you have it. The astrometeorology forecast for the last quarter moon period of 2022 December. All right. So stay tuned. This upcoming week, we've got the forecast for the new moon of December 2022 coming up for that lunar week for North America. So stay tuned for that in the next couple of days. And coming up in the next week, we should have ready for you the winter 2022-2023 forecast for North America for Canada, the United States, and Mexico. So we'll see what the planets are bringing to you guys for the winter. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be not a bad winter, or maybe it's not going to be a great winter. Which one is it going to be? You're going to have to tune in to find out. All right, thank you again for watching. I really appreciate your patience as I'm learning the ropes. And I promise I will get a lot more efficient and smoother as I evolve through this. Anyways, please hit the like button if you've liked this video or found it interesting uh, or different. And please subscribe if you would like notifications for future upcoming videos. Again, thank you all so very much for watching.